Shel from Paper Rock TO Studio. Today I'm sharing with you a piece of mixed media fan art that I did for a collaboration that was started by Faith Alonso, and the link to her channel is below, as well as the link to the playlist for the entire collaboration. This collaboration is about the Netflix original series Stranger Things. And I watched this first season when it first came out, and I really loved it. And then I watched it again when I heard about this collaboration because I thought this would be a fun one to join. And so I am making fan art about that today. So when I watched the first season for the second time, I really paid more attention and learned a lot more things than the first time. That's how it goes when you watch something again, or when you read a book over, or whatever, you pick up more things. Watching it more for content instead of just, emotional response. But this scene that I have taken, basically what I did was when this scene came on, and I remembered it from before, and I love it. I love the emotion of this scene. I took a picture of my TV in order to have a point of reference for my piece. So in this scene, my favorite scene in the whole first season, Winona Ryder, who is the mother in this series, her son is missing and presumed dead. And in fact, people have even brought this body and shown her and had a funeral and the whole thing, that he fell into the quarry or something and he's dead, but he's not. And she knows it because she's the mom. She has connection with her child. She believes in him. She loves him. She wants him back. And so she knows that even though everyone is telling her she's crazy, he's communicating with her via these lights. And she puts up Christmas lights all around her house. And, everyone just thinks she's bonkers. Even her older son thinks she's crazy. Everyone thinks she's crazy, but she knows he's out there. She knows, and she believes in the love between her and her child. And so she's been trying to communicate with him, and he can affect the lights, turning them on and off. And she finally gets it so that he can say yes or no by making the lights flash. And this is the point when she finally connects with him, and she's sitting in a cupboard, and she has the lights, and it's dark around her, and in the scene you see her whole face and everything lit up by just these lights, and obviously Christmas lights. And she says, flash once for yes, two for no, and then she says, are you alive? And he flashes yes. And then she says, are you safe? And he flashes no. And it's just such a poignant scene, and such a validation of her, that no matter what else anyone says, your belief can still be true. You don't have to listen to other people. You can believe in yourself and in your connection with your child. So this is the scene that I wanted to portray in my art. I think it's powerful. And I can't wait until the next season comes of this show. There is going to be a next season. It seemed to have a really dramatic end, and I thought maybe it was over, but it's not. There is another season coming, so I'm excited about that. A lot of people will be making a lot of different art. Obviously, everyone has their own favorites, favorite characters, favorite scenes, whatever. So be sure to use the hashtag Stranger Things collab, or there's a link in the description box below that has a playlist, and you can just go through the whole playlist. So thanks to Faith Alonso for having this idea and organizing this collaboration. It's pretty fun, and I'm excited to see what everyone has done, because it's a really cool show, and I think everyone should watch it. So the first thing that I did on my piece, this is a 9x12 140-pound cold press watercolor paper, which I'm using this smooth side, and I used my photo reference to draw the scene using my mechanical drafting pencil with the soft graphite. And I'm not a realism person. I don't draw realism, and so I'm sorry that it doesn't look exactly like Winona Ryder. It looks like some other chick, but you know, I did my best. So I've never made a caricature in my life. I don't know how to like make something that you draw look exactly like the person, or how to pick out their features that you need to feature. They're features that you need to feature so that you can make it really look like the person. I don't have the skill, but I did my best. I made my drawing, and then I like to do mixed media. I like to do layers, so I decided to do some collaging to kind of add some texture and pattern to the background. I put all those pieces of paper, just little painty papers and things, in little pieces around areas that I thought I should have them. And I attached those with Liquitex matte gel medium. And then I made sure that that was real dry. And now I'm using Neocolor 2 crayons, which are a water-soluble crayon. And instead of blending it with water, I'm using Liquitex matte fluid medium, not the gel one, but the fluid one. There's two different types, and they're good for different things. I'm using that to blend my my Neocolor color. Well, I've now just changed just as just as I said that. But for the background, I used the matte medium to blend it. I didn't use water. What that does is it does keep the color the same, but it blends out the pigment and also seals it, because this is a water-soluble product. So it's a good way to do it. And now I'm doing the other thing that I do, which is to use titanium white heavy body acrylic paint mixed with water to blend. When I'm doing layers on skin and things like that, I just prefer the paint. I don't know why. It seems to blend smoother, and I know that I'm going to be putting layers of color on top of layers of color on top of layers of color with the Neocolors. On the face, I started with a very pale flesh tone, and then now I'm adding in some ochre, kind of a yellow, dark yellow gold color in certain areas, and then I'm also coloring the hands at the same time using the same colors. The hands, man, did I have trouble drawing those. Hands are so hard. They're so weird. That's why. So then the next layer is like a terracotta, I don't know, orangey peachy color that I'm putting in the shadowy areas. And I go back and forth doing a lot of layers of color, blending them, and then going back into the real highlighted areas and adding in more titanium white, just straight, because in the picture her face is lit by these lights, and so there's very strong highlights in certain areas, and then it's not like just it's because the light is coming from below. It has a certain look to it because she's holding the light, and that's really the only light in the scene. It's kind of coming from the bottom, which is not usually the way that we do light. Usually we would put it in like it's a sunlight or something coming from like the top or the side. So it's kind of something to think about. I thought about it. I'm not sure that I did it exactly perfect, but I did do my best. Her shirt in the photograph is kind of a olive color, so I used two different colors, a lighter olive and a darker one, to color in her shirt. And as I'm adding the Neocolor, of course, it's unifying the collage. So it's adding in color in between the collage and over the collage in order to make it more unified. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. I might have added some more layers of different things, but I wanted to focus on her face and on the lights. I didn't want to distract too much from that, so I didn't add anything else in. So then I add some pink to kind of warm up her skin tone a little bit. She's looking a bit sallow because of all the yellowy colors. Then I start to work on the hair. In the picture, the hair, really only the very front little wisps of it show because of the lighting. Most of the back of her and top of her head is obscured by the darkness, but I did draw it in and figured I would add a little bit of color to it. Starting with a sienna rusty tone and then moving to a darker one and then eventually to Van Dyke brown, which is the darkest brown color that I have in crayons. I'm not sure who Van Dyke is, but he apparently had a brown. I probably should know, but I don't. I'm also still using the titanium white to blend, which is adjusting the color slightly. It makes it slightly lighter. Also, I should have paid attention to the color on the video. I could have turned down the brightness a little bit and it would have shown a little bit more intense color. This is actually intensely colored, but in the video you can barely see the yellow around the lights and stuff. You can barely see it, so I was not aware of that when I was filming. I can change the light setting on my camera to make it look a little bit better. I just didn't do it. So there's the Van Dyke brown, adding in dark streaks. I had a lot of fun with this project. I do wish I was a little bit better at drawing a caricature of a person or a realistic looking person because I'm disappointed in the way she looks, but maybe tomorrow I'll like it better. You know, that's what happens with me. It's like I really hate something that I make and I just leave it on my desk. I have got myself to the point where I do leave it alone after I've decided how much I hate it. I used to just throw it in the trash. But now I leave it on the desk, and when I come back the next day, it's like, oh, that's not so bad. That actually doesn't suck nearly as much as I thought it did. So hopefully tomorrow when I see it, I'll think maybe she looks a little bit more like Winona Ryder. But whatever, she looks like something, just maybe not a caricature or realistic portrait. So I'm trying to get in this little nasal labia fold right here. There's a strong highlight on the edge of it, and then there should be a shadow underneath, but every time I put it in, it just makes her look old. So it makes it look like an age makeup or something. So I put it in, I take it out, I put it in, take it out, and like trying to figure out why it looks so weird, but still messing with the hands, adding some of the same colors that I put in the face and neck into the hands so that it all goes together. And she has very dark brown eyes, so I try using the Van Dyke brown for those. A lot of times when I'm doing messing with the neo colors, for blending I use my water barrel brush, and I have gotten them all clogged. So they are currently soaking in Murphy's oil soap, and hopefully maybe later today I'll take some of them out and see if I've fixed them, because they're really, I guess, supposed to be used for water soluble things, and I guess maybe I didn't think I was, but I must have somehow sucked in some of the acrylic into the little valve and clogged it up. So I don't know what happened, but anyway, I'm trying to fix it. So now I have my Stabilo All pencil out. This is the black one. And I'm adding in very dark areas around everything. Not exactly illustration lines because they're not really lines, I'm blending it, but kind of like illustration lines to add a real dark edge to everything. That's just the way I like it. So since it's my art, I can do that if I want. It's my art. I can do what I want to, do what I want to, do what I want to. Yep, yep. This whole project took me almost 3 hours to complete. So it's sped up a lot. Like it's sped up 4 times fast some of the times and even 8 times fast some of the time because I was trying to get it into 20 minutes. You know, I have my little 20-minute rule. I don't think anyone will watch longer than 20 minutes. So I I went and looked at the collab, and a lot of times hops and collaborations and things will give you a 10-minute limit, and I'm like, oh, this thing isn't going to fit into 10 minutes. But I didn't see anything about that, so hopefully 20 minutes is okay for this collaboration. I didn't find any rules about that, so 20 minutes is my usual video length on my channel. So putting some more dark into her hair, balancing everything out. Still messing with that nasal labia fold. Also, her eyes are not dark enough yet, but I'll work on that. Then I go in and start adding some detail to all the strings of lights. This probably took me the longest, both drawing them and also coloring them, because there's a lot of little ropes of string and a lot of little teeny tiny light bulbs. So this is definitely sped up 8 times fast because, wow, it took a while. But I love the way it turned out. I really love the glowiness of it when I do finish up. It looks exactly like glowing bulbs, I think. So I'm still working on, oh, here's where I start glowing up the lights. I just use straight titanium white. Now the bulbs are still drawn in with the graphite because I haven't done it. I haven't gone over them at all. I didn't go over them with the black. I just went over the strings and the connectors to the cord, you know, where the lights screw into. I went over all that with the black, but then I just left the light bulbs just drawn in with the graphite pencil. And then when I went over it with a little bit of watered down titanium white, it still shows a bit of the detail of the light bulb, but it glows it out. And I went over the whole light bulb plus outside of the edge to make kind of a round glowing ball on each one. And I think it really, it worked out really well. So I was happy with that. So then I'm just doing the finishing touches with a white and a black Posca pen, adding those very strong highlights in her eyes where the lights are shining off her eyes, and then darkening up some areas with the black and adding more highlights around her eyes, at the edge of her waterline and the corner of her eye, places that would be wet. Threw in some really strong highlights. And then just in the front part of her hair, I'm doing a few little streaky highlights where the light would be shining on her hair just a little bit. And then to finish up my piece, I thought that it needed some words. So I printed these out on my computer, and I'm going to put them on there with the Liquitex matte gel medium. And then that will be it for this piece. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that if you haven't watched this series, you will, because I think it's really great. And you will see this scene and you will remember what I said. And I also hope that you will go and watch the rest of the people's fan art ideas for this Stranger Things collab. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Give me some video love below. Bye bye.